Hey everybody, hope you guys are all doing okay. Welcome back to Let's Play Siralim Ultimate. Last episode it was successful in the end. We defeated the nether boss after a bit of struggle. I want to start out this episode actually by talking about last fight, because I realized that there was something there was a misunderstanding that I had, which probably wouldn't have changed the course of events, but would have saved me a bit of time if I had been comprehending things properly. And I thought about making an annotation about this in the previous episode, but I couldn't think of a kind of brief and succinct way to say it, so I'm like, better to just bring it up in the next episode. You know, talking about it rather than just putting up an annotation means you're more likely to hear it, right? Because, you know, annotations, you might just be listening to things in the background and you might miss it. But if I say it, then you'll actually hear it. So, last episode, and in fact, to help me out, I'm going to pop up a small little screenshot. This screenshot is simply the page depicting Blacksmith Ian's stats and his traits from the first fight. Specifically, the first page of his traits, he might have had other temporary traits, but this page is the most important one, because this page is where my whole misunderstanding happened. So when I read his traits, I kind of read it pretty quickly. So I read the first one where, like, he takes less damage depending on how many instances of damage he has taken. He extends this to the rest of his creatures as well, and then there's that little thing where he gains shelled. You know, that's a very, very defensive trait. But then there's that second one called Congregation. After this creature provokes, your creatures gain defense and speed. That trait is not actually something he has by default. That's one that he has only because of the creature that he was fused with. Now, I kind of, even though I read it, and even though I've played this game for a long time, even though I understand how the game displays, you know, your innate trait, your fused trait, I guess I was just I guess my mind was not in the right place for reading comprehension. I kind of just lumped them together, and as soon as I went away from this page, I just assumed that the extra defense he was gaining every turn, almost every turn, like every time he provoked, was part of his innate trait. And the reason that misunderstanding was important was because if we take just his actual innate trait, the one called Blink of an Eye, yes, he's gaining damage reduction, but that's all he is gaining. And yeah, he's getting shelled, but that's irrelevant, we can easily deal with it. The second one, if, like, he's gaining 35% defense on top of potentially 95% damage reduction. That one is the one that was really messing with us, because it meant that over time enemies were getting very, very difficult to kill, and even the way we were scaling our own stats by gaining stats by killing the Dreadwhite, and by scaling damage on health, which we were also gaining quite handily, it wasn't really able to catch up to the damage reduction plus the defense increase that these guys were putting out. And it meant that really fighting him under these conditions was a waste of time. So if I had been understanding it properly, I would have just forfeited the fight as soon as I saw this, rather than spending however long I spent trying to beat him, and would have saved us all a lot of time. The episode would have been shorter. I will say that to my credit, despite him having this garbage collection of like this trait which made him just, which turned the fight into an actually unfair fight, despite him having that, we were kind of doing it. Now, I'm not going to claim that we were almost about to win, because that's not true, but we did have a pathway towards victory. Despite this garbage, we were doing several million points of damage per turn. It would have eventually won, especially because over time the game does introduce effects that cause everything to take more damage. We would have eventually won if it wasn't for that additional garbage of, you know, being one-shotted by impending doom. And that I still don't agree with. I don't agree with the game making, like, random, like, not even the boss monsters, but random minions in the boss fight immune to spells. Because it, number one, it doesn't make sense. Number two, it makes you not trust the game. You then wonder, okay, what other completely legitimate tactic will suddenly stop working in this boss fight just because the game didn't think the fight was hard enough and wants to make it harder in some clunky, arbitrary way. But anyway, this isn't... The point of this isn't to complain about the impending doom thing. The point of this is to say that really what I should have done was, as soon as I saw that he had this extra garbage trait, should have, like, spent one turn to get the lay of the land, but as soon as it was obvious that it would take that long just to put a dent in them, should have just given up and taken a fresh go. And the second time we fought, I think I said something like, hey, why aren't they doing that thing where they provoke and gain defense? They're not using their build. It's because they didn't even have that trait the second time, so they couldn't use it. So that should have been my clue. But it wasn't until much later that it clicked in my head that this wasn't part of his actual trait. Anyway, that's all to say that it pays to pay attention and to understand what the game's trying to relay to you in the various screens, because otherwise you will, well, you'll have some misunderstandings, just like I did, and might end up causing yourself unnecessary frustration and wasting unnecessary time. Anyway, so that's enough about that. That's enough of a debrief for last episode. For today's episode, we have another potentially harrowing boss fight situation. But before we go in, I just want to check something. So, we click on you. The bonuses you would give us are attack, spell damage taken, which you would reduce, healing given and healing received, which you would increase. What do you do? Dodge chance, stat boost effects, and you would reduce our indirect damage taken. And what would you do? Spell damage, spell healing, stat modification, and we have 2 guilds to unlock. I'm sure they will have their own set of extra bonuses that they would give, so it would seem that you can decide which of those bonuses are important for your guild and then focus on that particular guild, which maybe I'll do. I mean, stat bonuses seems like a good thing to invest in. But over the long term, of course, in a completionist run like this, we'll be doing all of them. I just don't know yet which order we'll be doing them in. Alright, so we've got to find our false god, Mr. Caliban the something or the other. Ooh, this is a really nice realm item bonus, so of course we're gonna go with it regardless of whether we're able to actually beat the false god under these conditions. Stats are swapped again, which means Caliban the Unredeemed. The game does mention him in the realm properties, which is convenient. So, last episode, we went to Damarel, did everything except fight the nether boss there, so we got a pretty good look at this realm. We eventually fought the nether boss in Arachnid Nest. We may eventually be returning to Arachnid Nest if we get our ass handed to us by the boss in Eternity's End, which is the next... I don't like this area because there are so many creatures in there that are like very defensive, but not a lot we can do about it. I mean, I am choosing this order. I could just skip Eternity's End, but you know what? Let's go. Let's just see what we can do. If nothing else, we'll try and smash and grab a few chests. Try and get some loot. The god here is Vertrag, the god of time. Make a donation, as always. Very generous, he says. Thank you. You get 150 favor. I didn't read his standard text. He says, humans often speak of killing time. Do they not see the irony of this pursuit? Yeah, I mean, not to be too much of a downer, not to get too serious, but time in the end is a very, very finite thing that once we kill it is never gonna come back. Okay, yeah, speed bonus. Speed bonus, or is it because they're Jinn? 'Cause I'm not seeing a speed bonus. They must be just naturally fast. So what happened in that battle was they killed all of our guys. Eventually they killed our Dreadwhite, and we have a trait on our Dreadwhite that will do damage based on his maximum health. So they just unwittingly killed themselves. Ooh, and what is this? Oh, this is where we can decide whether to make the false god stronger or weaker, and it'll affect the rewards we get. Let's start him at the top of the timeline. Oof, that could be very deadly. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. I've never fought a false god before. This could be a very bad situation that I'm getting myself into. Do enemies have dodge chance? No, they don't. They have a chance to resist damage. Which is why it makes sense to use a multi-attack on them. Because they might resist once, but they're not going to resist 5 times in a row. There's a master as well in this realm. Very small number of regular enemies. Okay. These guys as well. I guess enemies all belong to the same race. Means if it's a quick race, then just because they'll have similar stats to each other means they'll also probably all go ahead of us. But it's not a... Oof, it's not encouraging though, seeing regular enemies without even a speed bonus to them going before us. What else? This seems a bit too bad, a bit too harsh, if you ask me. This seems like something that's too... like, I would take it if instead of 15% it was 50%. So instead we'll take the deals 20% less damage. We don't lose rewards, fortunately, for taking the thing that weakens the false god. Take that. What do we get? I think we got buffs from that. Rebirth is great. Shelled and protected are fine as well. That gives us resources. It's great. What I want to do is I want to get in all of the optional fights first, because there are gonna be one-time boosts that we can get in this realm. I want to make the most of this situation. Ooh, have a riddle dwarf. Harbinger's Curse. That seems to me like it's gonna be either death or chaos. Let's see. Excuse me, what? Harbingers. It's not in this list that I'm consulting, so let me... It's a death spell, evidently, but I had to Google it specifically. Alright, we will fight the master before the false god. But before we do, let's get all the buffs that'll stay with us throughout the whole realm. Then we'll fight the master. Then we'll collect the limited time only buffs. Oh god, everyone's so fast. Ugh. And we picked the thing that allowed the false god to be ahead of us in the timeline. I think I'm already having regrets. Why did you come back? Why did you come back? It must be some weird Sphinx trait. But one of you died, and that triggered a... Okay, so anytime you kill an enemy, it drops one of these things. Okay. Okay, this we can take, because we're not really... We don't have stat reduction as part of our build yet. So, we'll do that. And we'll see how this goes. Defeat the enemies to track down the false god. Okay, so that's how it goes. And then this one's probably gonna spawn the false god. Were you running away from us? That was weird. The false god portal. Or however it is that you access them. Okay. What? Oh. Okay, it worked correctly. For a moment there, I was worried that I'd done something wrong. I just used my macro for a change. The reason I use my macro instead of punching them directly is because some of these enemies... Yeah, there we go. Very ominous looking portal has appeared. Feels like part of it's cut off almost. Because it looks like a hand, but then the bottom of it doesn't seem like it's there. Maybe that's deliberate, maybe not. We can take this because buffs eventually go away. So we have a modest set of bonuses. There was one that we didn't take just because maybe we should have taken the one where he gains 50% attack, but you know, it's fine, I guess. Alright, what are we gonna... Oh, and this one we didn't interact with. This... You know what, fine, it takes 30% less damage. We'll take that. And now... There's one thing I want to do. You know what, let's see it from now. See it from here, rather. The blessings that Vertrag is giving us, because I need to be very careful with how we interact with these objects in the realm that give us temporary buffs. So... Meteorites I'm trying to... Meteors. It doesn't say it here, but meteors give one-time buffs, and it says we get one more off them. And what about Spires debuff enemies? And that should be a permanent debuff for the rest of this fight. And these enemies are very tough. Ooh, look at... Oh, enemies have extra attack. That's gonna be rough in the false god fight. We punch these guys to death. Is that a... So far it's going, and let's see what debuff we get on our enemies from this. Enemies are confused. I didn't read the text. Confused is a good one, by the way. I didn't read the text for that. I'll read it for the next one, because there should be at least one more. Indeed, there is. What does it say? The strange spire pulses rapidly. An army of strange-looking creatures shows up, and then they attack. Not much to say. This time we're going first. Should we just punch them? Seems like it worked. One of them came back, but was just as quickly sent back into oblivion, and now enemies are silenced. That should also help us. And might as well, because we've got a more than 400% item bonus. We'll Kraken 100 hand. So the text you get for these mini boss fights does seem to be tailored to which enemy is considered the leader of the group, meaning which one is standing front and center. This one says, one of the biggest cephalopods you've seen has its tentacles greedily curled around the pile of treasure and eyes you with a covetous gaze. Take care not to be added to its treasure hoard. Ooh, and confusion, oh boy, yep. Confusion is messing them up quite badly. And even their attempt at resurrection ultimately... Ooh, they are quite tanky. Their attempted resurrection worked against them because the thing that they're trying to resurrect was killed again because of final breath, which triggered extra corpse explosions. But these guys are very tanky indeed. We're gonna have to do something like this to whittle down their health. And now I think they are dead. Good fight. Good fight. 75 favor. Next battle, your creatures start at the top of the timeline. That is a temporary buff. So before I get into other like if I get into combat with, so there's gonna be like a flaming orb somewhere that if I interact with it will get me into temporary combat. Oh, up there. So before I do that, I should make better use of that one-time buff by instead fighting the Inquisitor Master. These people have a whole bunch of minions. Can we get rid of them, or will they automatically get them all back? They will not get them back, at least not right away, so that means we can do something like this. Hefty amount of damage, but we do need to survive. Ooh, and I think we're fine. I think we're just fine. This annoying round property is saving them a lot of damage, but I think we're just fine. We did win, and our Inquisitor Mastery is now 3. It's odd though, despite being told we would start at the top of the timeline, a couple of their creatures were ahead of us. So I don't know if that one is maybe not working properly. Now we'll interact with this. Okay, this is very tense, but I think if we attack you, we should be able to finish everybody off. And this should complete a sort of mini quest for this realm, where if you interact with all 3 of the orbs, like the moon orb, that purple orb, and then this one, Vertrag will be happy because the flow of time is in balance once again. And it just gives us 150 favor for that, and then 250 favor for, you know, getting all 3, and that has pushed us into the next favor rank, where we get that dumpling bonus and also a bunch of loot. Ooh, and there's a little bit of the map that we haven't explored. I'm just gonna pop in here because there might be chests. There weren't, but there might have been. And it's important to get every chest that you can, especially under 400% item bonus. Now we'll fight this optional fight. Preta Cherub, knowing how well these dangerous, knowing well how dangerous these unassuming creatures can be, you order your creatures to be cautious. All right, seems like a more generic bit of dialogue there. So, how about I order my animators to do something like that? Very tanky indeed. I don't even know if we'll kill any one of them. Well, clearly there's some garbage going on with them healing, so I'm not going to stand for that. I'm going to cast Defile, and then now we can just do things regularly. Oh, they have extra attack and more damage dealt. That... Oof. So I don't know how this is gonna work. We have a temporary buff saying that we start at the top of the timeline, but we gave the boss a buff putting him on top of the timeline. So which one's gonna take precedence? Oh, there's one more... There's one more of these, but okay, I haven't collected any of the temporary buffs yet, have I? No, 2 of them there, 3 there. Okay, so that's good. So we can do this fight, and then we'll still be on top of the timeline. That's should be fine. Oh, more garbage with healing. Somehow he killed himself? I mean, thanks, I guess. Not sure why that happened. Still on top. Alright. Here goes. One-time buff. Next battle, your creatures always dodge. Always deal critical damage. I don't think always dodge applies to boss fights. You cast once more. Enemies drop a treasure chest. I don't think that's going to be relevant for the false god. And finally, cast +1. I don't know if they stack. Creatures resistant to debuff seems good, but again, I don't know. Like, some things that should work just don't work properly in boss fights just because the game feels like they're not hard enough. Anyway, so nothing left for us to do. Done everything else. We're not... Yeah, literally everything else in this realm. those other things that we haven't interacted with, the ones that look kind of like fountains, those are just teleporters. Like, they'll move you around between different, they'll move you between themselves in kind of a loop, so it's kind of a fast travel system. Anyway, let's go. Let's see what happens. No point. Oh my god. Oh god. We can't turn around, right? Yep, there's no turning back. Oh jeez. What's hey man, how's life? How's it going? Everything cool? Caliban, your efforts are futile, Darius. The lingering power of the nether orbs has made me immortal no matter how many times you triumph. We'll never truly win this war. I mean, maybe? We'll see. Oh god. So, already some interesting stuff seems to have happened. The head of Caliban provokes. You cast... His hands attack enemies. His heart... It can only be damaged after the other parts are weakened. And look at these HP totals that we're dealing with. How is this gonna go? Your head is already provoking. So all we can do is... We're blighted right now, that's actually not good. But I am going to attack. Or... should I... I'll start out using... Start out with an attack, just to see what kind of damage we're doing. Yeah, not great. So with you, we'll cast Antidote. We need to get rid of the Defile debuff that's on us. We need to get rid of it, like, yesterday. So once again, I'm going to cast Antidote. Now it should be gone. Now we should be able to cast our macro. Actually, no. I'm going to once again cast Antidote. This should remove it. Yes. Now we can safely cast our macro. And now... all we can do is hope that we're not wiped. So confusion seems to be... Oh, what the... I don't like the fact that you are casting Blight over and over again, so you can... Oh, so you should cast Archangel's Blessing. And now you should use your macro. And you need to... The Orbs of Caliban, I really hope they don't blight us again, because that's going to make things really annoying. While we can, let's cast Archangel's Blessing. And you... I should have done it the other way around. Should have cast Archangel's Blessing now, because with a larger pool of max health, we'd be gaining more. Okay. I think we got through that. We don't have Blight on us. We have Bleeding, but that's different. Right now, we're doing some real damage. Might even take out the head. well, didn't take out the head, but did some pretty good damage. By the way, one property of your relic is that after you attack 10 times, you can cast freely without using up your charges, meaning you can cast reincarnation over and over again. So should I do that, or should I carry on attacking the head of Caliban? I think... let's see what else we can do. False beliefs, absolute corruption. How about arbitration? Just take away all their buffs, including arcane. Well, arcane would have helped if our Rift Dancer survived, but so you're blind. You cannot cast reincarnation. You can only do something that affects them. What about... oh, and their confusion is also wearing off. What you should do is... yeah, casts on extra target. So his hand is snared. The Dread White, I think, what you should do is... you should simply defile... actually no, the Vivifier can defile. You should provoke. And the Vivifier should defile. Just in case they try to heal. Steel Storm was a pretty devastating hit. But we once again get a chance to go. Big damage to the head, but it is only weakened. It's not dead. Which means it's probably gonna come back. And our duelist wasted a lot of his attacks trying to hit the heart, which can only be damaged after the other body parts have been weakened. So you suck. But let's try and... do you have any spells that'll... even Archangel's Blessing could help, but you know what? You should attack. You did some damage to this orb. Oh, this realm property is... it's killing me. It's killing me. Archangel's Blessing again, maybe? Alright. You came back. That's great. We didn't have to waste an action... didn't have to waste an action bringing you back. I'm going to do this to you. Absolute Corruption. Ebony Ant can germinate you. Animatus, please attack this orb. Oh my god, this realm property is really messing with me badly. Once again, you've wasted so many of your attacks attacking an invincible target, but eventually, somehow, we were able to do it. Archangel's Blessing. Should we do it? Let's do it. Archangel's Blessing once again. Should we do it? Let's do it. He has only one hand left. You know what? You should cast... do you have a second Absolute Corruption? You do. You should cast that. Ebony, and you can simply maybe not Cherub's Missile. Let's germinate. Yeah, let's germinate. Now the Animatus needs to attack the hand, which is now down. Wait, what? I don't understand what happened. Do we only get one round of attacks and then all of his body parts come back? Is that what's going on? So we know that the ones that are casting spells are the most annoying, so let's just try and get them dealt with first, and then we'll go through all of this again. Alright, how is this gonna go? You know what, you can just defend. Yeah, just defend. Ebony and yeah, snared on the other orb. Pushing it down, that's good. Animatus, just finish off. Oh god. Well, we killed it, which is the important thing. And now the head is provoking, which means now we have to attack the head. This realm property, once again, is causing us a great deal of consternation. Now, I think it's a good idea to keep these the spell casting. Well, we can't really do it. One of the orbs is gonna get an extra hit, and there's not a lot we can do about that. They're not really healing much, are they? So that's not really gonna help us. What if we just defend? With you, again, you have a lot of these at your disposal. So just cast Archangel's Blessing. And the Vivifier can just, defend, save your spells. Defend, save your spells. Ooh, took out the head. And again, you... So the hand is gonna go first. So let's attack this hand, see if we can maybe kill it. This realm property is so obnoxious. Just... yeah, you should attack. You should attack. Try and attack the orb. The orb is gone, and repelling is what stopped them from taking corpse explosion damage. So, with that in mind, here's how we'll do this. We'll do Major Resurrection. No, we'll do Archangel's Blessing. With you, we'll do Major Resurrection. With you, we will do Arbitration. Yeah. We did get to go again. We'll attack this hand this time. Should die, yeah. And now the other hand. Now corpse explosions. Corpse explosions once again did some good damage. I think we damaged you. I don't know if it's telling us how much current health it has. I wish it would show us the health bar, because I'm not sure if we're making progress or if we're just wasting time, if there's something else we need to be doing. I'm just going to attack one of the orbs. You, my friend, should just keep casting Archangel's Blessings like there's no tomorrow. And you should cast, well... You cannot cast Germinate. Maybe Cherub's Missile on that, on the orb that we're not working on. The Vivifier can cast Germinate. Actually, no. Let's defend. Let's see if we can maybe. Have you taken damage? Oh. Steel Storm has killed a Rift Dancer once again. And they have blighted us again, which is a bunch of garbage, which is why you should never let these... Never let these orbs get a turn if you can help it. Now we're stuck attacking the head. Did good damage to the head. This might as well carry on attacking it. Oh, the head of Caliban has been damaged too many times this turn. More garbage. I do not agree with that limitation. Now we have to do Antidote. Because Blight is really obnoxious. Yeah, we have to do Antidote. We have to do Antidote. We're out of antidotes. What else can we do? Germinate. Yeah, the orbs are really messing with us badly. Fortunately, you came back. All we can do is attack the head. Hopefully corpse explosions take care of the orbs. Once again, you're attacking the wrong things. But you did some damage to this orb. Let's see if you can finish the job. You couldn't. You would have been better off casting Germinate. Okay, let's brace for more garbage from the orbs. Cyclone Strike. Once again, killing our Rift Dancer and our Ebony Ant. Even our Dread White. That's a shame. Jesus, what are you doing, man? Eventually, we're gonna run out of resurrections. So that's not a viable thing for us to do, just keep on allowing our creatures to die. Now we're getting some good hits in. Oh, somehow we won. We defeated Caliban the Unredeemed, and the Nether Orb of Chaos appeared. Approach it to claim your reward. Before that, can I open these chests? Because I'm worried that if I approach it, it'll send me out of this realm. Okay. And now we've got an achievement for beating Caliban for the first time. What anointment do we want to claim? I really like that. Normal battles means it won't happen in boss battles, but it would really make um, trash mob fights a lot more tolerable. Right, all of these are good. I'm not sure. Now that could be interesting. But we're not casting healing that often. We're mostly relying on passive healing, like regeneration per turn or leeching from attacks. And I don't think this applies to that. I don't like that. This seems very complicated. That seems very nice. This seems pretty good as well. So, for me, it's between this and that. This and that. Because if I'm interpreting this correctly, then even very powerful spells that should only have one charge will now have 6 charges. I mean, ultimately, I think we'll be able to unlock all the anointments, but we should start out with what's the most useful to us. I mean, I kind of have to take this. This is only gonna make trash mob fights easier. It's not gonna help us in boss fights. This is gonna help us in boss fights. And I'm pretty good at fighting trash mobs, even under very obnoxious conditions. I will rarely feel like I'm in danger of dying, so I think the responsible thing is to take supercharged. And then maybe down the line, at some point, if we fight Caliban again, we can take even the odds. We've got to start out with supercharged. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. In addition to your new anointment, you've earned a heaping supply of treasure. That's just what I wanted to hear. What do we get? An inscription for a new spell. 5,074 reputation with the Life Guild. Your reputation with them is now 5. Ooh, very, very tiny bonuses. So I guess this is more of a long game situation in terms of relying on this to get stronger. Other things as well. And some conventional rewards as well. Can we interact with the orb again? No, it just says that it pulses vibrantly, and that's all we can do with it. Well, pretty happy with that. 200 favor. We beat the realm quest as well, and we get some piety, and we can put up the rest of our guilds just in time, because we just beat this false god, and we can now immediately set ourselves up to fight the next one. There's nothing else to do in this round except, do we want to fight Wildfire Fleet? We'll summon one group. We'll see. Is this quick or is this slow? It's gonna be slow. It's gonna be slow because they're going before us. But I will kill the group that we've summoned, just so I can make back the resources that I spent summoning them. But I'm not going to summon any extras. Where are the... So there's one there. And... nobody up... Well, hold on. remember when we got that one meteorite and it said your next opponents will drop a treasure chest? I didn't think it would apply, but it did apply. So we get an extra treasure chest as well. Nothing special in it, but you know, a small amount of stuff. Not too bad. Where are these last two F3? Two of them are there, and then one's gonna be okay. And then one's gonna be in that other corner. Yes, maybe we'll get the card from these two. You never know, it might happen. That was rude of you. I think that's gonna kill them, yeah. Because of course explosions kill two people. Then you know you've got enough firepower to take out the entire group. Alright, and then we'll kill this last guy and it'll be a bit of a walk back. But we'll it won't be too long. But I don't like leaving divination candles behind. There's a whole lot of confusion that just happened there. It didn't take a single hit, just how I like it. They're coming back annoyingly, but we dealt with them. I'll have more to say about the false god fight. Now that I've fought one once, I will feel better about looking stuff up about them, and I'll find out about how exactly damaging them works, what sort of a window I have to attack the heart of Caliban. Because it seemed the first couple times when we took down the rest of his body, it just instantly came back. Was it because we did enough damage to the heart, or was it because was it just because you have a very short window to attack it? Not really sure. Anyway, let's we've got the Chaos Guild, got the Death Guild. Let's start a couple projects. Oh, I forgot to save my game properly last episode. So let's start another hunt. I thought I'd started this generous hunt. Or did I? I thought I... Maybe I didn't start the project properly. Anyway, let's also look at our prophecies. What sort of projects do we need to do? Nothing, just another Keyforge, which we're already doing, I think. So we'll do a training mission. I've got 24. So let's start doing another attack training mission, and then for the last one, I don't know. Let's just do a raid. Okay, and now, ooh hey, I hit 27% achievement. I got the pop-up from Steam. You won't see it, but I'll show you here that we are indeed at 27%. Fabulous stuff. And before we end off this episode, let's place down our final two guilds. One of them was Death. One of them was the other one that we don't have, utility NPCs. Death Guild and Chaos. Okay. Death can go here. Chaos can go here. I feel like I might move them around because I don't know, maybe life and death should be on opposite sides because it just feels right that way. But anyway, let's look at what sort of bonuses they give. Stat reduction, minion damage, debuff potency, not relevant to our build at all. Attack damage, critical chance, and critical damage. That's better. And the other three we've already seen. I'm not gonna start another bounty just yet. I will sleep on it. We'll decide what sort of bounty we will work on next episode. And also next episode we'll see what sort of things we can do with the guild, with the reputation we have with them so far. I think this episode has gone on long enough though, so it's time to call it to a close. A successful episode, bringing down Caliban the Unredeemed after a very epic fight that we won in the end, despite me not understanding what was happening for pretty much the entire fight. Somehow I stuck in there long enough, I kept my creatures alive until the game told us we won, which often seems to be a tactic of mine, but it worked this time, and I'm feeling pretty happy about that. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. When we come back next time, like I said, we'll take another look at the Life Guild to see what exactly we've unlocked. We'll decide on a new false god to track down, and we'll just start making some more regular realm progress. How about that? But anyway, hope you had a good time, and look forward to joining you in the next episode as well. So until then, take care.